right, welcome back into the channel. Today we are bringing back the First and 30 football show on the channel. 3 NFL topics, talking about some NFL news around the league. Haven't done one of these in a minute on the channel, but as we approach the season, training camps coming up, news is buzzing. We'll probably get more of these on the channel. Today we're going to be talking TJ Watt's massive extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers and why the team essentially had no choice but to give TJ Watt the money. The Washington Commanders and Terry McLaurin. This is a really drawn out process. I'm going to give my thoughts on that. And then the 49ers with some early pup list wide receivers amidst the Jawan Jennings holdout. We're talking about that and more. If you love the NFL, be sure to hit the subscribe button on this channel for all your NFL talk, tier lists, rankings, reactions, etc. You name it. Now, let us talk about TJ Watt as the Pittsburgh Steelers gave this man some absolute bread. As per Adam Schefter, ESPN sources, Steelers star TJ Watt has become the highest paid non-QB in NFL history for the second time in his illustrious career, reaching an agreement today on a 3-year, $123 million extension that includes $108 million fully guaranteed at signing. The $41 million per year average is the highest of any non-quarterback in NFL history. That's surpassing Jamar Chase. That's surpassing Myles Garrett. TJ Watt is doing that. And this deal obviously has been in the works for months at this point. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? TJ Watt deal, we had talked a little bit on this channel about could there be a trade happening. I didn't give it a full ton of attention just because I never thought that we were going to see the day that the Pittsburgh Steelers traded TJ Watt. We obviously didn't get to that. Not a lot of length on the deal for a guy that's on the other side of 30 and has had some injuries, but TJ still absolutely a premier player at his position, you know, in terms of edge rushers. I don't think anybody could rightly in their mind have him outside of their top 3 in football at this point in time and actually claim to be doing it in an unbiased manner. But there are 2 reasons why Pittsburgh had no choice but to give TJ Watt this money. The number 1 reason is because of his status with the team. TJ Watt is a leader on this team, and you don't want to go into training camp on a season in which you're looking to compete and not have the leader of your team, the leader of your defense present. TJ Watt wears the C on his chest for a reason. He is a captain of that team. And whether it's play, energy, locker room guy, you name it, all reports indicate that TJ Watt is a leader. TJ Watt, even in this situation, we saw, you know, I'm not throwing shade here at Myles Garrett, but Myles Garrett talked about trades and stuff. TJ Watt never made this a public issue. Reports had come out, whether it's TJ's management pushing for a little bit more money with the Steelers, etc., but TJ himself never once came out and made this a drama spectacle. TJ has done the Pittsburgh Steelers right. Obviously, he's a Hall of Fame level player, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing TJ Watt right for the second time in his career. And as an organization, as a franchise, this is what you do. You reward the top tier talent on your team. We talked about this post Super Bowl when we were talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is what good organizations do. Reward the players on their team that consistently produce for them by giving them what they have earned without it being much of a hassle. Yeah, you could have paid TJ a little bit earlier, but this deal's done by training camp. No problem in my eyes. No problem in my eyes. It's a business in one sense, but at the end of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers show why they are a class organization in football. They are rewarding their top tier talent. And if you don't think that other players around the league think about that when they think about Pittsburgh as a free agent destination, it's not LA, it's not New York, it's not Miami in terms of cities. But what is it? A team that has a history of winning, a team with Mike Tomlin, who players love, and a team whose ownership and front office have shown when you perform for us at a high level, we will reward you. That is the image of the Pittsburgh Steelers around the league, is let alone the reason that they had to pay TJ Watt, let alone what TJ Watt has meant for them. And the second reason that this was a no doubt all in, you have to pay him. You're kind of all in on this year if you're Pittsburgh. At least your moves have signified that. You trade for DK Metcalf, upgraded the receiver position. You trade for Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, it's kind of a lateral move in terms of Minka and Ramsey, but Ramsey is 2 years older. And you bring in Jonnu Smith, so you add in some offensive talent. And you sign Aaron Rodgers to be the guy this year. You don't draft a high-value quarterback. Yeah, you drafted Will Howard. We'll see. I know some Pittsburgh fans believe in him. Me, not so much, but I digress. The team is very veteran-led. Rodgers, DK's been around for a minute. Cam Hayward, TJ Watt now back. Jalen Ramsey. Your premier players are ready to win now. If not, you could argue a little bit past ready to win now. They are in on this season. And after what they've done last year and what they've done the past few years, they're kind of just in on every year. Whether each season has actually had Super Bowl aspirations or not, Pittsburgh is in on being a competitive playoff team. And you weren't going to have the offseason that you had, bringing in Aaron Rodgers, trading for DK Metcalf, bringing in Jalen Ramsey, an older player in the secondary, signing a Darius Slay, Cam Hayward one more year. You weren't going to do all that if you planned on not having TJ Watt around. And we're past the draft at this point. There's no trading TJ Watt for impactful players that could help this team now. Could you have maybe swindled a deal with a team like the Eagles to get a Nolan Smith, to get a Jordan Davis? Maybe. Could you have maybe gone to Detroit and gotten one of their younger pieces? It's possible. But nobody on this planet that you were going to get back in a TJ Watt deal was going to help you this year, like TJ Watt, especially not getting draft capital in this past draft that has already come and gone. Will the Watt contract age poorly? I don't think so. I think TJ, when healthy, is still very, very premier. Joe Burrow, actually, who was he on an interview with? I think he was with Part of My Take. Yeah. And they asked him, TJ Watt, what's so scary about him? And he said he's the only edge rusher in football that you have to also worry about him in pass coverage. TJ Watt gets interceptions. TJ Watt's a baller. TJ Watt does it all. Similar to his brother JJ. Do it all talents on the defensive line. They tried to get, is it more worrying to play TJ than Myles Garrett? And Joe wouldn't entertain that. But in terms of versatility, TJ Watt's the most versatile edge in football. And it's not close. I love Myles. I love Micah. They're not what TJ is in terms of versatile as a player. And even if things don't work out this year and you go into rebuild, TJ's a great leader to have on that defensive side of the ball for young talent coming in. And even if you decide to strip it all down and trade him next year, there'll be a market for edge rushers, man. There is a market. Maybe you don't even have to pay this whole contract. The TJ Watt contract, what's so interesting about it is, what are the ripple effects around the league now? A Micah Parsons, who's coming up on an extension, who has yet to be extended by the Dallas Cowboys. And remember what I said about the Pittsburgh Steelers rewarding players, when it comes time to pay them. We saw Dallas, what was it, last year or 2 years ago, hold all the way out on the Dak extension until, the first NFL game had already been played. We were Saturday night, maybe Sunday morning. The news dropped that he had gotten his extension. CeeDee Lamb had to wait, and now Micah has to wait. And the price is only going up. You pay these guys later, and you inevitably fold. You're always owing more money. It's just the way it is. There is more money to be owed. And it is a slippery slope if you're Dallas to have Dak, CeeDee, and Micah all making all that money. And then Detroit, too. The Lions. Aiden Hutchinson. That extension's coming up. He's going to make a lot of money. And after the year he had last year, where he was on pace to be the defensive player of the year and the sack leader, and really carried that defensive front, and they were never the same without him, if they can get back to that ability this year with him, at his age, we might be looking at upwards of $45 million annual average salary for Aiden Hutchinson. But that's a lot of speculation. TJ Watt remains a Pittsburgh Steeler, and I hope for his sake and for the franchise's sake, he is a one helmet guy in his career. We've got a potential Terry McLaurin holding out on the Washington Commanders situation brewing in Washington, and this to me is a really, really puzzling situation. I'm going to quickly pull up some tweets from 106.7 The Fan, which will highlight some of the quotes from Terry McLaurin. I do want to play here and continue to be a part of what is being built, but you also want to feel valued by ownership. I think there is a disconnect between the value I bring to the table and how it applies to the market. Terry McLaurin. As well, I've been pretty frustrated, I'm not going to lie. Everything that has transpired has been pretty disappointing. I want to continue my career here. I've created my life here, so I want to be here. Just to see how things have played out has been disappointing. Terry McLaurin. So, obviously it's pretty clear when we look at that Terry McLaurin is upset and frustrated with the Washington Commanders. And listen, when it comes to players demanding money and wanting raises and etc., it could be a very mixed bag of results. But I'm here to tell you, 10 toes down, feet planted, I'm on the side of Terry McLaurin when it comes to getting this money from the Washington Commanders. Terry has been with this team through good and through bad. He has been with this team through Redskins to football team to Commanders. He has been with this team through Taylor Heineke and Ryan Fitzpatrick and Taylor Heineke again and Marcus Mariota and getting, destroyed 2 years ago to the point where you have the draft rights to take a Jaden Daniels, to now the second that they get a Jaden Daniels, a top 10 level quarterback, look at this, 82 receptions, 1,096 yards and 13 touchdowns, and proved to me that, the thought that a lot of people had was similar to the way people look at Garrett Wilson right now, right? If you just get this man a damn quarterback, he will be electric. We got Terry McLaurin, a quarterback, and he was electric. He was a top 10 wide receiver in football. And when you produce like that for a franchise over and over again, it goes back to what I just said about the Steelers and TJ Watt. That's a team that should reward you. The guy has been through thick and thin and very thin with the Commanders, and now that it's time to get paid and get his big deal after he has shown that when he's provided a real quarterback, he can produce, the team is seemingly nickel and diming him. How is this extension not done? Listen, I don't know the number Terry's asking for, but I would realm to guess it's in the realm of the Brandon Ayuk contract, which is what, 30 to 35 million a year, somewhere in that range. My point is, we're not breaking the TJ Watt record with Terry McLaurin. At least that's not my guess. And to me, it's poor management, because he has been loyal. He has performed. And the biggest thing of it, hey, Dylan, it's a business. You're not paying Jaden Daniels right now. You're not going to pay Jaden Daniels the big time money throughout the length of the Terry McLaurin contract extension. You're not paying a premier edge rusher. You just brought in Von Miller, and he might be the best guy on the defensive line at 50 years old. You got a premier tackle that you're paying now, but when it comes to guys on the defense, it's not loaded up with talent you're paying there. Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler. You're not overspending. You have an additional $25-ish million in cap space right now, and next year you have $66 million available. Guys, you pay the guy who is responsible for making Jaden Daniels, and don't get me wrong, Jaden is Jaden, but without Terry McLaurin, does Jaden Daniels have the greatest rookie quarterback season of all time? My answer is no. He has a great connection with him. And what's so crazy to me about this is last off season, this same Commanders team was ready to go and trade for Brandon Ayuk and extend him. And Terry McLaurin just showed you he's better than Brandon Ayuk. And you're not willing to give him the money? What are we doing here? ultimately, I do think Washington is inevitably going to fold, man. But you look at those quotes where, again, similar to TJ Watt, man, Terry McLaurin's got that C on his chest. He is a captain of this team. And for him not to be rewarded for the loyalty, the production, and now a huge chunk of the winning, because we all know the offense drove that Commanders team all season. And yes, Jaden's that dude. And when Jaden's up for extension, you're damn sure they're going to pay him. But number 2 was Terry McLaurin last year, man. He's never been a problem. Never been a diva wide receiver. Never had an incident. Shown up to work, busted his ass for the team, and produced. That's the kind of guy you want to pay, man. That's the culture you want. And I know it's new ownership group. And I know it's new GMs, and things are changing, and it's obviously in a better spot than it was before. But this, to me, is not a good sign. This is the guy you pay. And in an NFC that's loaded, man, you can't afford to not have Terry McLaurin in a division with Philly, the defending Super Bowl champions. A Cowboys team that's looking to have Dak healthy and should have a pretty good offense that you'll need to keep pace with. A Giants team who are sneaky, a top 10 defense and football candidate with that D-line. You're going to want pieces on that offense, man. You don't want to lose guys. And what is that wide receiver room if Terry did hold out for a couple weeks? Debo, Noah Brown, Luke McCaffrey. I mean, Jaden's good, man. But come on. And the rest of the NFC, man, Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, Chicago, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, San Francisco back healthy, the Rams. It is loaded with great teams. And Washington's in a spot where they can keep up. And I like the moves they've made this offseason. But they shouldn't be at the expense of Terry McLaurin. And speaking of one of those NFC teams, we got the San Francisco 49ers. Quickly going to talk about them here. They got a lot going on right now. Jauan Jennings is holding out. He's due for $7.5 million this year. He wants an extension and a raise or to be traded coming off of the season that he had last year. And then you also have Brandon Ayuk and Ricky Pearsall opening up training camp on the PUP. Now, this doesn't mean that those guys won't be ready to go for the start of the season, although from all reports, Brandon Ayuk may open up the season on the PUP, which means he could miss the first 6 weeks of the year, which then in turn, how much do you need Jauan Jennings? Probably a little bit more, especially with Debo gone now. And the 49ers are a team that I think many, including myself, are looking to bounce back this year and have a good year and potentially go on a playoff run. And then once you're in the dance and you've had the experience that they have, like anything could happen. But this is concerning. You know, on the scale of 1 to 10, you know, we're probably at a 4 level concern at the moment. It is still just July 20th at this point in time, but you never like to see injuries. You never like to see players holding out. San Francisco's got both right now. And to me, what this really signifies is this year, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the vets of this offense. Trent Williams to stay healthy and really hold down that offensive line because Lord knows they need him. George Kittle to do what he did last year and be the number 1 on this team and still continue to be the great blocker that he is and stay out there. Christian McCaffrey, man, the engine that drives the car. I think Brock Purdy's great. And this is no shade at Brock Purdy. I think he's a top 15 quarterback in football. Christian McCaffrey is the engine of the offense. The Kyle Shanahan scheme, what do they want to do? They want to run the ball down your throat. And they want Christian McCaffrey to damn sure be the guy that's doing it. Obviously, we saw success last year with the Jordan Mason. It wasn't the same. Do I think Garendo and Jordan James are solid, guys to play alongside McCaffrey? Absolutely. In the fourth quarter of a game that you're up 2 scores, would I trust Jordan James to take the reps and let McCaffrey get some rest? No doubt about it. You want McCaffrey out there for the first 3 quarters to get you up in that damn game. And I do think that with McCaffrey and Kittle healthy, the 49ers can overcome an Ayuk on the pup, a Jawan Jennings trade, a dealing with Ricky Pearsall getting, shaped into the offense. They did sign a Demarcus Robinson. Like, I think they could work with the utility pieces at wide receiver until Ayuk gets back. And then once Ayuk's back, like, to have a fine and steady offense. They have the easiest schedule in football. Like, they could be a playoff team. They will be very dependent this year on Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. And Brock Purdy, too. Brock Purdy in the same light. He's got to perform. In my estimation, 2 years ago when they made the Super Bowl, Brock Purdy was very much a game manager for that regular season. And then in the playoffs, we started to see, hey, like, this guy's getting out of his shell. That game versus Green Bay, those drives in the fourth quarter that he orchestrated, like, were really impressive. To have that comeback versus Detroit, it took a little bit of mismanagement by Dan Campbell and the bounce off the helmet catch by Ayuk. There's a little bit of luck involved, but Purdy played his ass off. In the Super Bowl, I thought Purdy played decent. And then going into next year, to be honest, I thought we saw some of the best versions of Brock Purdy last year. I thought his mobility was on display. I thought his ability to navigate the pocket, throw on the run was on display. And to work through circumstances and go through some growing pains last year in a season that was nothing, I think we could really see the best version of Brock Purdy this year. But he'll need his guys to be healthy. So we'll see what the 49ers got going on, but a little bit of news there. If you love the NFL, again, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the like button on this video to let me know that you guys like these first and 30 video concepts. I will catch you guys later. Peace.